Coming at you live from my home studio in beautiful La Puente, California. This is the All Dodgers podcast. We hit a few memes. We're going to hit a couple coins. We're having a good time. We're going to hit a Miscusi because why not? This is a show that's part of the Believe network of podcasts. What is going on, Clint Nation? Happy Thursday to you all. On today's show, we're talking about, the Jason Heyward thing. There's a bit of position player rosterbation we need to do. So my guy, producer Kevin, will be joining us. We're going to be talking about all things roster, all things maybe Platoon, ? We'll bring that up again. And some starting rotation woes, all that kind of stuff. The Dodgers do not find themselves in an ideal situation when it comes to starting pitching with about a month and a half, less than a month and a half until the postseason. We'll look at that Rays series and a whole lot more on another edition of All Dodgers Live. First, find me on the internet as Real FRG. My name is Clint Pasillas. I should probably do it in the order I usually do it, but I'm a longtime baseball writer, sports editor. I've been talking Dodgers baseball here on the internet for a long time now. Feels like a very long time, but Kevin's been doing it a little bit less, but we have fun with Kevin as well. I like that guy. That's why I give him the tiny seat in the corner. Kevin, the kids table. Kevin, that is at producer Kevin at Skinner7 Kevin on the Twitter if you want to give him a follow.
What's up, Kenny?
How you feeling, my guy?
Whenever you there's one thing to sweep a team, and then they're sweeping a team and getting their manager fired. So riding pretty high on the sweeping a team and getting their manager fired.
All the way up, baby. All the way up. Bye-bye. We hardly knew ye Scott Service.
But there for 9 years. He's been around.
Really been that long? Holy shit. Doesn't even feel like it. Doesn't even feel because nobody.
Texting a buddy of mine, he goes Scott Service scapegoat. He thinks it's an organizational issue, and I can't say I disagree.
I mean, they had a nice little division lead at one point. Now they don't, and the batters can't hit. Yeah,
went to the playoffs. First time in 20 years.
Well, let's see how the people are feeling in the chat. Guys, sound off in the comments. Let us know how you're feeling tonight. Let us know how you're feeling about the Jason Heyward situation, about Chris Taylor getting the job, about Kevin Kiermaier staying around. We want to know what people think in the chat. Showtime LA is in the chat. What is going on? One of our friends who hangs out with us on Discord, of course, a supporter here of the channel via the YouTube members, says, I want to raise a toast with Kevin for Dodgers legend Kevin Biggio and Nick Ahmed. Listen, I gave you shit last night, Kevin.
Hashtag justice for Biggio right here.
I gave you shit last night.
This sip of Negroni goes out to... Is Biggio an Italian last? I don't know. Maybe it is. But
Biggio. If you do it that way, I think it's a little more Italian. Denny Cortez hanging out with us. Says, what's up, Dodgers fam? Clint Nation, how you doing, Denny? Good to see Rich Flores in the house. Said Devore in the house as well. Of course, our guy Richie from Devore. Doom Sal in the chat as well. What's going on? Sammy Boy Smith says FT3. Oof, we got some love. I was talking about it earlier on Dodgers territory. The chat was going off. People not happy to see, CT 163 back in the lineup. We'll talk about that in a second. Joel Rodriguez sends us an eggplant, so we appreciate that. I'm pretty sure that's a salt here on the internet. The chat, we're going. We're live. Josh Gitt is in the chat as well. Again, guys, sound off. Let us know where you're representing your Dodgers fandom
More
tonight.
Like Craig Biggio, am I right? Always good to see you, Bob. Welcome, Bob Nightingale, not Robert Nightingale. Robert's out there somewhere, probably misspelling a tweet as we speak.
It happens like that. One thing I got to tell you guys about, of course, is our friends at Bet Online. It is the number one trusted source for all things betting and your number one source for everything football, from the preseason NFL to college kicking off. Bet Online has every stat, every matchup, even live odds and spreads while games are being played. Think you know your stuff? Get in on their winner-take-all $300,000 NFL Survivor pool for the upcoming season. If there's not a game going on, you can head on over to their online casino, get in on a game of blackjack, get in on a game of poker, unwind. They have over 150 slot games at your disposal there. Head to the website today. Use promo code BELIEVE, that is BLEAV. Get in on the action. Bet online. The game starts here. And the chat, somebody said, Monster says, Ipe approved. Ipe approves the removal of our friend Jason Heyward. Is that what I'm reading?
I think Ipe approves the Bet Online sponsorship.
This makes a lot more sense. Sorry.
That's why they have me around, folks, to when they so we know when EPA approves gambling.
Hit a little cha-ching on
Don't
that
tell the
one.
IRS that.
Do not tell the IRS at all. But sorry, Kenny Chung, CT 161. I think somebody else put 163 in the chat as well. But yeah, let's talk about this news. Busy little off day for the Dodgers. We kind of knew this was coming. I had sources tell me yesterday that Heyward was most likely going to be the guy. I don't do things with sources because I don't care about trying to be a newsbreaker in this industry. But Heyward, I said earlier that it's not shocking. It's like surprising or not shocking, however the hell I said it. What's your taste of the Heyward situation, or of Heyward being the guy?
I was surprised. I'll be honest. I thought it was going to be Kiermaier all the way. So if I was joking around, if I was kidding, Dave loves his guys, but Andrew Friedman gets to make the roster call, so he loves his guys, which is why Kiermaier is still here. But in all seriousness, I was surprised that Jason Heyward got the axe in this instance. He done well for the team, in terms of what have you done for me lately, or a bat bench. He's done really well, and we've seen this organization really lean into their guys, clubhouse leaders, guys that make an impact not on the field but off the field. And so their track record led me to believe that Heyward was going to be the guy to stick. Yeah. I think ultimately Kiermaier is the right choice, but I was surprised that the front office made a really, really, really tough choice in letting Heyward go. Because let's not put it lightly. That's a tough conversation. When David Vassay tweeted out tough conversation with Howard Heyward, it had to have been, because you don't have to just tell Heyward. You got to tell Freddie. You got to tell a lot of the other guys in that clubhouse who, look up to Heyward. He helped James Outman last year. Like, he's helped a lot of the younger guys too. Like, he's resonated throughout this entire organization. So to make the choice of, hey, we got to win now, and Kevin Kiermaier gives us that best chance, I was surprised they did that, because normally they lean kind of the other way. Like, what gives us the most level head? What gives us the, it's not going to sink our floor move.
Yeah, no, that's a really good point there. A lot of good points there. We'll give him a couple of coins for good points. You get rewards today for some reason, I decided. But it was shocking in the fact that it goes against the norm for this organization. They do like holding on to their clubhouse guys in particular, their kind of field generals or their dugout generals, because he's barely been playing, had Heyward. But They were leading up to this. Dave telling us, earlier in the week, like, some tough conversations are coming. The whole conversation or the post game where he talked about the game, honoring people like Jason Heyward. I mean, obviously they knew by that point that was the plan, and them trying to kind of shoehorn Hay into getting some work in center field or whatever. It's like, no, you ran out of usefulness for the organization and for the roster as it's built, and they've done that too many times in the past, where they stick with character guys instead of somebody that actually fills a need they want in the organization or on the field, on the bench, or whatever. And Kiermaier does that, and if he's hitting a little bit, if he's hitting even a lick, having a bonus premium defender out in center field or anywhere in the outfield goes a long way, and that frees up Edman to be one of the either superstar backup shortstops or the center fielder, whatever he needs to do. So we appreciate you, Hay. I think the people here in the chat will appreciate Hay. I will say this, make no mistake, this is a massive blow to the Dodgers clubhouse, but it's one of those things where they made their choice of trying to actually win. I think they're done being embarrassed in October, and that's where I feel like it's at.
Yeah, I don't think it's really that big of a blow to the clubhouse. You get guys, Clayton Kershaw kind of holds everything down for the pitching side. Tyler Glasnow's got to be up there too, in his 30s at this point. He's been around. He's a vet. Max Muncy's still around. Mookie Betts, Freddie Freeman. This is kind of their team at this point. Shohei Ohtani. I don't think this is a huge blow to the clubhouse. I think it's a huge blow for a couple of guys, namely Freddie Freeman, and that it's unfortunate.
It's Freddie's friend. How do they trade away, or how do they get rid of Freddie's friend?
So here's what my personal belief is: they actually did Jay Hay a little bit of a favor here. So they had kind of two ways of going about it. They could have left him on the roster until September 1st and gotten a call up. He sticks around and he maybe makes an October run. Like he maybe makes it into October. He would have had to have been on fire. In this case, by DFAing him, he has the chance to get picked up by, like I've been saying it today, Atlanta or Milwaukee, a contender that needs outfield help. And he gets to basically almost guarantee himself a postseason roster spot by getting DFA'd. So it's kind of a favor to him. I think the way this went down is they called him into the office last night and said, hey, you got two choices. Either you stick around, somebody hits the IL, and we'll keep you for September. If things break your way, you'll make the roster in the postseason. Yeah. If not, we can't guarantee anything.
Like, or more likely he's a taxi guy.
He's a taxi guy. Yeah. But if he goes to a team like Atlanta, who needs help like immediately, if they make the playoffs, he's in. He is on that roster. He gets to try and help a team. So I do think this kind of helps him, or it's better for him. And we've seen the Dodgers do this a lot. Clayton Kershaw, they don't extend him the qualifying offer because they don't want to put pressure on him to make a choice like within 2 weeks or whatever after the season ends. Nick Ahmed, they kept on the roster for an extra week because they wanted him to reach that 10 years of service time. So the Dodgers have been known Andrew Tolles is, it goes on and on and on. They've been known to do right by their players. And I do think, hey, it's not a great situation. I think, like, ideally, he's on the roster and he's guaranteed a postseason spot. But given the best of a bad situation, they gave him the option of what he wanted to do. And I think this gives him the best chance of, playing in October.
I hope that's the case. That would be very much a nice case. Of course, we're never going to fully know what the situation is. Dave is only going to tell reporters so much tomorrow. Outside of it, it was a tough decision, and we wish the best. You might wonder if they find a way to keep him in the organization. I don't see that happening, especially with the thank yous and all of like the posts that went out from the Dodgers today. His days in Dodger blue are done, and we thank him for his service, and we thank him for that lasting final memory of a 3-run pinch hit homer. People in the chat less inclined to care about I don't want to say to care about, but the clubhouse angle for Heyward, saying that there's still Miguel Rojas in the clubhouse. Well, Miggy Rowe and Jason Heyward kind of created that together last season. That both of them doing that whole after series shot, the shot of tequila or whatever they're drinking. So Heyward was a big part of that because they knew coming in, like the seismic change that had been going on with the roster. They were kind of the new guys on the outside looking in. So they're like, hey, let's make a thing. Let's make ourselves, our presence known in this clubhouse. So they don't need Heyward anymore for that, but he was very important. But I think we're still living on borrowed time from 2023 if we're looking to spin that forward to now. That's another thing. Yeah, Rebecca saying, the clubhouse will be fine. They have Rojas. Rojas would have been a bigger blow. Yeah, plus he's actually, kind of the starting starting shortstop at this point in time. What comments you got there, Chief?
A lot of CT talk. Monster saying CT will be great if he fixes the gigantic hole in his bat. Mr. Summer Obe, good CT3 stats, guys. And a lot of people are not excited about CT coming back because of his season stats. So I don't know if we want to get into kind of what a Chris Taylor role looks like, or at least in my mind, what there is to look forward to with Chris Taylor coming back. So.
Yeah, let's pin that for a second because we did get a couple of thoughts from folks on the voicemail hotline. Kevin might not be able to hear these, but we'll still trudge forward. We got a few calls.
I'm going to nod my head like I can hear it and smile just for the video, just for YouTube. YouTube, if you see this, yep, it's a lot of that.
Do it for the gram right here, baby. Do it for the gram. But here's Nico having some thoughts about the Jay Hay situation.
Hey, this is Nico, a.k.a. Grizzly Oso, coming at you. Very upset about this Jay Hay move. I really didn't understand it. I mean, I do understand it from a number standpoint and all that, but from a culture standpoint and just the way that what he's done for us in the past, you know, it's just one of those things that I'm just like, well, yes, they ride the CT3 horse hard, and I get it. He's one of Doc's boys or whatever, but I'm like, Jay Hay has cemented his relationship with Mookie, and it's already been established that he's like one of Freddie's best friends. So I'm like, why wouldn't you consider him in this move for CT3 versus someone else who hasn't been producing or someone who's most likely going to end up on the IL? I didn't get it. I was very upset. I posted in the Discord about it. I just want to talk to Andrew Frieder. I just want to talk to him. I just want to, I'm just going to talk to him. That's all. So, yeah, that's where I'm at. Hopefully we can get through these next couple games. It's nice to have a bye after all the stress of the Diamondbacks not losing and the damn Padres not losing. And to get some breather room. It's been nice. All right, so that's my thoughts. Talk to you guys later.
Thoughts from Grizzly Oso there. Another guy not very happy with the situation, with the decision to kind of essentially take CT3 over Jason Heyward, although, Kevin, we were talking just before the show. The reality is they took Kevin Kiermaier over Jason Heyward, and it's not as fun to spin it that way. If you're spinning it about, CT3, then people can be angry. I think that's more important. We want anger out there in the world.
Well, yeah, anger draws clicks, folks. That's what we're here for. We're here to draw up animosity. So, and they say anything else, they're liars.
Damn, you darn tootin'. I don't want to say foul fucking words here. Speaking of foul, we got Hammy 0023 calling in. Here's some thoughts from Hammy, and apparently he went off a little bit here. And usually Hammy's a little wild on these calls, so I'm a little scared.
Hey, Hammy 0023 from Long Beach here. Hey, I'm going to admit I was wrong. I was absolutely wrong. I said that when Kersh came back, they wouldn't win. But no, the Dodgers did vintage Kershaw help. A 2-1 win. Yes, a whole 2 runs to help Kershaw. Thank goodness the guy can start pitching again. But let's keep on talking about pitching. We have Buehler and Miller still in the rotation. Do you guys know that Vestia has a combined almost as many strikeouts as those two? Maybe we should put him in the starting rotation. But seriously, the split with Milwaukee was horrible. The loss to the Phillies was horrible. And now we're coming up against the Diamondbacks here. And at least we got some great bats off the bench, right? Jay Hay? No, not anymore. Why? Because we're putting CT3 back in. It's like these guys can't figure out who they are. Either the top of the order is hitting, the bottom of the order is hitting. They just need to figure themselves out, and I hope they do soon because it's getting the crunch time, and we've got people behind our backs ready to step on them. So I hope Glasnow comes back strong. I hope the Dodgers figure out how to hit when Kershaw's up on there, and I hope Bobby Miller and Walker Buehler figure out how to get more strikeouts.
So a whole lot of, first we'll give Hammy 0023 the clap. Way to be alive, buddy. A whole lot of negative there, mostly negative. A little bit of love for Kershaw, so we appreciate that. But concerns over seeing Bobby Miller and Walker Buehler in the rotation right now. I mean, that's a symptom of the injuries. They're down a Yamamoto, they're down a Glasnow at the moment. So that's just the way the ball bounces right now. I don't know about looking too far behind the schedule, looking at that Milwaukee series, looking at that Phillies series. I mean, honestly, and Kevin, I'm pretty sure you'll back me up on this, that was a different Dodger squad. This is the new look Dodgers. They got Max Muncy back. We're good.
Yeah. I joked kind of in the Discord channel. The Dodgers kind of catch teams at the wrong time. We caught the Phillies when they got Bryce Harper and Kyle Schwarber back. We caught the Brewers when they got Devin Williams back. This is one of the few times where, we kind of get to like catch a good, like the Mariners, they were above 500. They were in the race. We caught a team. They caught us at the wrong time. Us, the royal us. We get Max Muncy and, Tommy Edman gets to make his debut. This looks more like a complete roster. So that was kind of fun to actually, be on the other side of for once, because it just felt like treading water for 2 months. It was tough.
Let's see. Sammy Boy Smith says, I never doubted Kersh. You never should doubt Clayton Kershaw. Even when you doubt him a little bit, you should never doubt him. Pinsanity says they were a dead team in July, and hell yeah, they were dead. They were living on borrowed time for a while.
Yeah, absolutely. It was.
I didn't set you up very good there. I just kind of
but we can only get on here and say so often like, just wait, be patient. You're missing an MVP talent. You're missing you're missing so many. But when they're just like losing ground in the division, it is really, really, really hard to get up here and be like, yeah, just wait to see it. You'll see. Aha. Richard Flores, the 199 super chat.
Let's go.
Said, Mad fucking Max. Enough said. Agreed. I don't know if he's talking about Max Muncy. I don't know if he's talking about Max Crosby. Either way, Mad Max. Enough said.
Either way, we appreciate the super chat. As always, Rich Flores, who I think also just called into the voicemail hotline. We got a couple more. I wanted to get through a couple more in the chat here as well, because some people, Rebecca says she's all in on the CT3 revival and notes that she never stopped being a Lux truther. Just like me, I was always bought in on Gavin Lux, and I don't want to see Showtime LA say any different in the chat, because he very much could very easily. There was another one here I saw about CT3. Some folks, kind of erring on the side of positive. Orlando saying, I believe in CT3. He may not make the postseason roster. That is a good point. That is a good topic. That is a good question. We'll talk about that, in a second. Shelf it. Write it down so I don't forget, because sometimes your boy
I got a whole section in my notes for this one. So
we love notes.
Yep.
Speaking of notes,
we love notes, guys. We love drunk notes is the best.
Oh, drunk notes. Those are Kevin drunk notes are probably a really, really good time. I've got another call here. I believe this is from our guy Noah, as you know. So let's hear from Noah.
Well, it's Noah, as you know, guys. And I gotta say, the lineup we currently have is ready for the World Series. Pitching, on the other hand, not so much. And I'm not gonna lie, Jay Hay getting DFA'd was a big surprise. I'm surprised that they did not put Freddie on the IL because, quote, his finger. But I see why, though, in terms of contractual obligations with CP3. Plus, I prefer CP3 over Jason Heyward because of his versatility. Plus, I hope he figures something out, and hopefully he does another 3 home run game like he did in 2021 versus the Braves. Have a good rest of your night, guys.
Noah calling in. We appreciate that. Kevin, are you buying or selling that? The lineup right now, this current lineup, is a World Series contending lineup.
Absolutely.
Buying it all the way?
All the way.
All right. I like it. Because we'd have a problem if you didn't.
This is something you hang your hat on. This is the lineup we dreamed of. I think when Max and Tommy got activated, we were all on first name basis.
Yeah. Tommy. I got you. Yeah.
Tommy. I think when they got activated, I was like, this is a lineup that 9 men should never do to me. Like, it's not. I felt a certain kind of way. It to go from, Kevin Biggio and, Kike hitting 5th or 6th to Max Muncy hitting 7th.
It's pretty scary.
I mean, that's
Will
crazy.
Smith is hitting 6th. That's just absurd to think about.
Absurd. It's absolutely absurd. And we saw that over this weekend. It wasn't yesterday's game. It was Tuesday's game. Lineup's not doing too hot, and all of a sudden, Lux and Max turn it around immediately. Like, they hit a couple home runs in like the 4th or 5th inning, and the Dodgers are all of a sudden winning the game. That's what a deep lineup can do. You can't just pitch around Shohei and Freddie anymore. It's it's a lot deeper. You know, if Miggy and Edman are hitting you can't pitch around Miggy either. He's scrappy. He'll get on base. Tommy Edman's the same way. There's just a lot to this lineup that
it's linked.
You know,
you love
it's
seeing
linked. Because I went to the Dodgers Padres game when, you know, the second game Kershaw was back, and you know, I looked up and down that OPS. A lot of guys OPS starting with 5s.
Yeah,
batting averages in the 1s, and it's tough to look at. And now we got up and down. It's, you know, 9s, 8s, 7s. I don't. Mookie might still be 1-dotting, or no, Shohei might still be 1-dotting. Not sure. He might be in the 9s still, but it's still it looks like a much more complete lineup.
And what helps is, you know, I made a little joke there about being a perpetual lifer Gavin Lux truther, but him becoming like figuring it out, that goes such a goddamn far way. As Badan Coase says in the chat, says Gavin went from Lux to sucks to now fucks, and we bring back Gavin Fucks, F-U-X, in perpetuity. That is our guy right now.
We've been saying the whole time, though, that the best version of this lineup, Gavin Lux, is hitting.
Yeah, no, this is a fact. I think people sometimes, you know, misunderstand what I was trying to say before with Lux and his situation and his struggles. Like, I was never really big on the trade Lux or DFA, never on DFA Lux. It was more of like, just give him a mental reset. That's clearly what he kind of needed, whatever, if it was talking to Uncle Aggie or whatever it turned out to be. But we don't need to talk too much about it, because, you know, we don't want him thinking about his positive regression, which I think is a progression. What we should think about, though, is our friend Sergio Sounds saying, hit that like button, guys. We need to get to 80 likes right now. I don't know how many likes are on it right now. Usually Diane does that, but she's on vacation in Cabo. So hit the like button for Diane in Cabo. Subscribe if you wouldn't mind. We'd very much appreciate you guys subscribing to the channel. One more, let's say quickie, but probably not a quickie. We got about 2 minutes from our friend. This looks like Richie. So let's hear from Richie.
Yep.
Here we go.
So, a little perspective on this whole Jay thing, and I know a lot of people are upset about it, and he's Freddie's BFF, but chew on this, Clint Nation. The Ohtani contract changed everything. The deferral to ensure that the Dodgers would be able to build a team around him after 6 years of watching Octobers on his couch back in Tokyo. The man wants to win. And by doing this, he did not give the Dodgers any kind of excuse to change the good old boy network. The days of hanging on to clubhouse guys and character guys, which is, quite frankly, hasn't gotten us anything but 2 exits, embarrassing exits over the last 2 years. Those days are over, and Ohtani changed all that. And that's the reason why Jay Hay got dropped like third period French. This is about results. This is about winning. This is about a town that's been starved for a World Series. And even though we defend the Mickey Mouse Championship of 2020, but at the end of the day, all of us deep down want to see a full 162 ring celebration next year to shut everybody up. And more importantly, to build a team that's going to shove it up anybody's ass that gets in our way, starting with the Padres and the D-backs if we face them. Well, anyway, screw F the Dodger Stadium parking lot, F the Padres, F Manny Machado, F a Rose Arena and his bitch-ass punk move last night. But more importantly, F the Ghost Runner. See ya.
Our guy Richie, always coming in hot on the voicemails. You guys can call in too. Make sure you're calling in. It's I usually remind our Patreon and our YouTube members, supporters to call in. So check those out. $5 a month. You can help support the channel. Maybe at some point we could buy Kevin a light if we get enough not super chats, but Patreon supporters. Again, patreon.com/realfrg. Check that out. But Richie saying what we said earlier about maybe this time the Dodgers aren't leaning on guys just for their character. They want pieces that are going to be around to make a difference, make an impact in one way or another in October. And while Jay Hay, I would argue, would make a better impact off the bench just because the numbers said he was really good off the bench. We don't know as much about Kiermaier yet. He's really good in that role this year so far. But Kiermaier, that defense is just a game changer, and I think that's what it comes down to realistically. And I think we're going to talk more about that right now, but I believe we got a super chat. Where is it at? Well, I think I see one. Did you see a super chat?
Alfonso Lucio, $10.
Let's go.
Quoting Alana earlier, who quoted a movie, to Heyward, how do you get fired on your day off?
That was a pretty good one. That's a pretty great one.
Alana knows her movies. I love that. That's awesome.
So, there's some moving pieces. There's some different look to the roster now with your guy Jason Heyward gone, with Kiermaier. Maybe we can say cemented into a roster spot, but you still got CT coming back. Kike's still around. At some point, they say in September when rosters expand, they want to bring back Andy Pages. So how does all of this fit? This is the roster-bastion part of the show. How does all of this kind of fit together? I want to see a platoon. I think we need to see, I don't know if it's 2 platoons, bare minimum second base. I talked about this on Monday. Just kind of let it eat. I want to know Kevin's thoughts on the situation, a lot of the pieces. Where does CT3's role kind of factor into the team? All of that kind of stuff. Is Mookie going to be entrenched in right field, or is he going to maybe move into second base because Gavin Lux, as much as we love him, can't not hit lefty pitching at all? So spit for us.
Yeah. Let's, I bring my stats to the scuffle, let's say. For everybody that's not excited about Chris Taylor coming back, over his last 26 games prior to the injury, 26 games that's a month. That's a long time. He had an 830 OPS during that stretch. That's a good stretch of baseball, especially for someone like Chris Taylor, who is very streaky. So for him to sustain anything over 26 games is pretty impressive. I'll get into his splits a little bit later, but he had a good 26 game stretch prior to injury. Supposedly he made some adjustments to his swing. He had good numbers at his time at AAA, and I think he played a game of single A, but he was whatever. Here's the interesting part for me when it comes to possible platoons. Miguel Rojas's splits are dead even, like versus left-handed versus right-handed pitching. He's like 2 points off. He's got a better batting average in OBP against right-handed pitching. He's got better pop versus left-handed pitching. That's a 416 slug versus a 399 slug. So it's kind of that's a decent difference. But what that tells me is maybe they don't need to platoon Miguel Rojas at all at shortstop. He can start against both left and right-handed pitching. So that leaves just second base as a possible platoon. And here's where things get interesting. Lux is horrendous against left-handed pitching. I think he's actually statistically the worst batter in baseball against left-handed pitching. CT3 over that 26 game stretch, over the season, he's dead even against left-handed and right-handed pitching, but it's both terrible. Yeah. So I took that. I kind of just threw that out the window. Against left-handed and right-handed pitching over that 26 game stretch where he showed some promise, this is after he made an adjustment to his swing, and you're hoping that carries forward to him coming back. He's actually better against right-handed pitching. He's got a 703 OPS and a 101 WRC plus against left-handed pitching, with a 915 OPS and a 159 WRC plus against right-handed pitching in that 26 game stretch. Still, a 101 WRC plus is way better than Gavin Lux's. I think he's at 18. So it's still significantly better, but Chris Taylor is at least seeing right-handed pitching a lot better. What I expect is an early Chris Taylor, Gavin Lux platoon at second base. You get Gavin against right-handed pitching. You get CT against left-handed pitching. However, the best platoon, if you're talking just right out the gate, like if October started tomorrow, would be against right-handed pitching. Lux plays second base, Mookie's in right field, and against left-handed pitching, Mookie's at second base, and then Pages goes to right field because Pages has arguably been the team's best hitter against left-handed pitching. He's up there. I think he's actually got a better OPS than like Teoscar at this point.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I'm seeing is the reason I think this move got made where they DFA'd Heyward, kept Rojas on the roster, and they weren't going to wait is they need to see if Chris Taylor can play against right-handed or left-handed pitching. Excuse me. If he can be that bat. If he can't be that bat, then a tough conversation needs to happen at the end of September. If he can be that bat with his positional versatility, that gives them, like, you know, Dave's favorite word, optionality. But at this point, I don't see a reason outside of just giving Miguel Rojas days off his feet because he's older, you know, he's 35 or 36, one of the two. And he, you know, he's got soft tissue injuries. We can get a little bit later. There's no reason to platoon Edman and Rojas. They can just start now and just run them. Kiermaier gives them that opportunity to like spell Miguel Rojas a couple days, but in my opinion, that shortstop, center field, those two really shouldn't change.
Yeah, second base is the most obvious one, and I like that point there of Chris Taylor. I think Kike has kind of played his way off the roster. He's going to be the bench guy.
He's been bad against both sides, both hands, no matter how you slice it. Like,
glasses or no.
I tried to knife, like, you know, butter knife stats into a way that benefit Kike, and it doesn't work. It's like no better than an 80 WRC plus against left or right-handed pitching. So
yeah, Chris Taylor, we know, has in his career in the past raked against left-handed pitching. The Dodgers get an option, or they get the opportunity to bring a player back or to add a player. I say bring a player back. It's, you know, foreshadowing there. They can add a player, technically two, to the roster in September, and that guy is going to be Andy Pages. Dave Roberts pretty much already said Pages will be back in September, and that's where this Heyward thing happens now, beyond what you said earlier, and other people in the chat were saying too, or agreeing with, giving Heyward this chance to maybe latch on with another postseason contending club right now and be eligible for the playoffs. But it's going to come down to who can kind of step up and take the reins versus left-handed pitching. Is it going to be Chris Taylor, or are they going to end up, you know, giving Andy Pages an unexpected roster spot? Because, as you mentioned, he's hitting like 370 or 360 some odd against left-handed pitching this year. I agree, it's not even about agreeing. The numbers tell you he is the best against lefties on this Dodgers roster, and that's got to mean something because you always face the toughest lefties in the postseason.
He's got a 337, 383, 488 slash line that's good for an 871 OPS against left-handed pitching. Like, he's just. Yeah. Give me 10 seconds. You can sing.
Well, I see this one. I see my guy IE Doyer in the chat saying, "Have faith in October," with the C and the T and the 3 October. You know the thing. We made a shirt about it. Anyways,
I mean, Teoscar's better at 938, but there really aren't that many better left-handed hitters. Mookie's kind of on the edge there. He's hit left-handed pitching really well, but sample size is a little bit smaller because he was hurt. But Andy Pages is really up there with like the Teoscars and the Mookies on this roster for hitting left-handed pitching.
Yeah, it's like at this point, if we're playing with house money as we're trying to create these rosters and give ourselves other things to talk about that are a little different while maximizing the players on this roster, it's just, I think I saw somebody in the chat saying, "Oh, here we go, the Mookie second base, platoon idea." It's just on paper, it's a really good fucking idea because Mookie he played very well moving back and forth between the outfield and the infield last year. He wants to be a second baseman in his career. It gives him his opportunity to kind of scratch that itch, and he can hit against everybody. So it's not a problem to have him play second base against a left-handed starter, and he can move into the outfield or back to the outfield if he needs to, change them cleats, whatever he says he does or whatever. But if they want to find a way to get Andy Pages on this roster. That's the only way you do it. It's in right field.
Yeah.
It's starting against left-handed pitching, and it's nothing else. So if you want somebody who gives you a little bit more pop, like I don't think Kike Hernandez makes the postseason roster if
I agree. I think he's the odd man out.
He should be the odd man out.
He's the odd man out at this point.
If you have Chris Taylor, if you have Tommy Edman, those are guys that can bounce around and play defense. It's very solid to elite level, but between the two of them, and then Kiermaier needs a role. So if he's the guy who's the backup in center field, well, Edman can play everywhere. You're in a really good spot there, and you're maximizing that 1 through 9 to the best of its capability with these guys that are there. With Pages in right field, you got some youth, you got some some pop there, and again, he's a much better right fielder. He's not a center fielder. He should never really be playing center field, but circumstance and whatnot. But I think it's a good move. Do I think it happens? Absolutely not. But I think it is something that should be considered for this organization for sure. And that's if Chris Taylor can't kind of take the reins as the
they're going to give him the
complement
chance
at second base. Yeah.
They're going to give him the chance. They're absolutely going to give him runway. That's the whole reason they're bringing him up now and not waiting until September. They want to give him that chance to earn that roster spot. And for all the people that are, kind of poo-pooing Chris Taylor, I get it. I really do. Even if you want to talk about like what have you done for me lately, Chris Taylor has been better. Chris Taylor has a better stretch of games than Kike does over the last 2 years. And Chris Taylor's as good as, if not better, of a defender than Kike is. And Chris Taylor can at least play center field too, which we know Kike has struggled with in the past. So for that money, for my money right now, I'll take CT. And we'll see what he can do. What has really jazzed me up about Mookie, there's a lot of people, ourselves included, that were worried about possible position changes and role changes on this roster. Man, this last series, every time that dude has hit a double, driven in runs, whatever, he looks fired up. He looks excited. He's doing stuff on second base, whether it's just waving guys home or just giving the Eric Gagne, little fist pump, whatever. He looks fired up to do it. I think he's fine in right field. I like the platoon at second just to keep him, on his toes. And as you would say, keep him feeling froggy a little bit. Keep him just engaged.
He gets bored. He gets bored in the outfield and especially in right field.
Yeah. Exactly. Mookie to send him home running into second was the best. I agree. It was awesome. I haven't seen that much from Mookie, especially in the regular season.
That was good.
That would happen in the postseason. But, you keep him, it's not often, once a week, once every other week, give him a game at second just to keep him feeling engaged. Once October hits, I guarantee you Marcus Lindbetts will not care where he plays. He doesn't care if it's in right field. He doesn't care if it's a second. He doesn't care if it's a short. He just knows he wants to be on the roster, hitting the baseball. So that's something that I've seen from Mookie that has been really encouraging, and something that, in the back of our minds, we were always worried about, does he necessarily care? Or is he is this the part of the year that, he gets bored and just shuts everything off? I think
having that break too, quite literally having that hand break there, that I think that did so much to invigorate him or reinvigorate him. He got a break during the season. He talked about that a number of times, being able to spend some time with my family in the summer. That was cool, man. That was awesome to be able to do that. Yeah. So now he's coming back. He's a happy boy out there playing baseball. And I think that's going to juice him up for sure. I think that straight up juices him up for the postseason. Plus, he hears the demons. He hears people starting to get ready to talk about, what did Mookie Betts do in the postseason last year? Oh, that's right. It was a whole lot of nothing. So he's ready. And I think when he tells us, I'll do whatever they tell me to do, he's not saying it half-assed and slyly. He means it. He will do whatever it takes for this organization to advance beyond the NLDS and hopefully bring home a real championship. If you guys listen to Richie Flores's voicemail.
I'll hear nothing about that. Hear nothing about that.
It was a real title, but 162, it just hits a little bit better. But that's where we're at on this one. Do we think it happens? I think the Dodgers will lean towards the CT3 and lean towards the safe, but maybe this Jason Heyward thing tells us they're not. They're more willing to kind of think outside the box a little bit and not always be safe and not stick with the guys they know or whatever. So maybe that does mean CT3. Maybe that does mean some Mookie Betts. I don't know. I don't know if I added anything there by saying what I said as I tried to kind of button this up a little.
The question, to answer your question, I think they give CT that run early. But what I believe it means is if CT goes in like a 2.5, 3 week stretch where he sucks, like we're talking, like the CT 161 that everybody's joking about, they'll just say, no, man, we can't do it. I think they're good. They have enough really hard conversations coming down the pipeline. They just had it with Jason Heyward. They might have to have it with Walker Buehler, Bobby Miller. We talked about that a little bit later, but those are tough conversations coming down the pipeline. I have no doubt they could look at CT and go, hey man, just, this ain't your year. We'll ride you till October, and then that's it. We got our best options don't necessarily have you on the roster. So I think this is that year that has told me that they are finally willing to do that. And this Heyward move told me that they're willing to do that, because Dodgers in 2021, Kiermaier's gone, Jay's on the roster. 2022, same thing. They put Colton Wong on the roster over Ahmed Rosario because it was Dave liked what he did.
Also they just apparently hate Ahmed Rosario, but that's a whole other conversation.
Yeah. So I think this year's the actual year that they go, you know what, enough's enough. We got to put the best 26 guys on this roster, and if CT3 or Kike aren't on those 20, aren't among those 26, thanks for what you've done.
Yeah. Well, enjoy the ring when you get it.
Yeah, exactly. All these guys are getting a ring anyway. Hey, even if we win it all, Jay's getting a ring.
Hey, those are our thoughts. We want your guys' thoughts. Sound off in the comments below. Right now in the live stream, we're going to be reading them, but afterwards, this might be a little, thing that's another video. So, sound off in the comments. What do you think is the best version of the Dodgers roster? What do you think actually happens? What do you want to happen? All that kind of stuff. We already got some killer comments going here. Right now, we do have one person says, watching YouTube live in Japan. Appreciate you hanging out with us. Oh, we'll get to that in a second. But saying they have a huge J-Hey fan club there in Japan, so we're kind of depressed here on Friday morning. I think it is very, very tough for the organization as our guy Kevin walks away to grab himself the second half.
Second one just in case. I cannot read that name. It just starts with the 3-9. I don't think anybody here is excited J-Hay's gone. I think we all appreciate very much what he has done for this club, especially last year. Really working to adjust his swing and be an integral part to this team, filling in defensively, offensively, however they needed him to fill a role, he did it. And I mean, the old saying, once a Dodger, always a Dodger, that rings very true for a guy like Jason Heyward.
Absolutely.
Always.
But I got to ring the bell, I got to ring the gong, because that's what the Super Chat is asking for. $100 Super Chat from our friend, the Right Field Pavilion. Give him the
grab
clap.
The drink. $100.
Because of that, hey, ring it.
That's our first one.
The first
triple-digit one.
Maybe not.
No,
I don't
it
know.
definitely.
Well, I'll have a drink for it.
Yeah, that's why I grabbed the second one.
Oh, man, thank you very much.
Appreciate you.
Right Field Pavilion, always a phenomenal supporter here. Whether you're just hanging, or whether you're, as somebody said, dropping super chats, but that's fucking awesome. We appreciate you, Right Field Pavilion, and also, oh, that Jim Beam is burning. Yes, guys, I still drink Jim Beam. Just saying. I don't have the sponsor anymore, but I'll still drink.
I'll do one from your old sponsor.
Oh, which one?
Is it
Hornitos?
Hornitos.
Oh, man, I got so many of those still around the house because we're not tequila people here. But,
I just keep this from Margs. I like Margs. That's about it.
Well, yeah, you got to have a mark here. But the comments were already going pretty damn good here. I mean, anytime you get a $100 super chat, that's an amazing comment, and that wins the comments for the day. So again, appreciate you, right?
I get to eat tonight now.
You do. You can get that free 7 strikeout Jack in the Box. What do they call them there? I forget what the hell. The Jumbo Jack. We'll send it to you.
Crunches?
Yeah,
Jack in the Box, not Taco Bell.
That's what they have. Where did I see it had here? Bob Nightingale saying hot take Walker gets one more start to show what he's got. We're going to talk Walker in a second. We got 2 more segments before we do get out of here. GI also talking about the roster crunch around the pitching staff, which you had just alluded to, Kevin. We're going to get into that in a second. Sammy Boy Smith asking, does Biggio get a ring? Yeah. Well, if they win.
If they win it, yep.
Dodgers legend, Kevin Biggio. I can't wait to see him at, like Alumni Day 15 years from now. Matty Man 5 Dodge. I saw one of the comments earlier and another one here saying, let me restate it. I don't care if Mookie is bored. And the other one had said, like you making $350 million. You don't get to be bored.
Yeah, you do. Absolutely.
I mean, you can be bored. At some point, you can have so much money.
The contracts go both ways. The organization trusts the player to perform. The player also has to trust the organization to put them in a position to succeed.
Yep. That's fair.
To put it analogously, my Raiders are in a very similar situation with Devontae Adams. They gave Devontae a truckload of money, but he signed that contract expecting the Raiders to put him in a position to be great, to break records, to win, division titles, or, make a Super Bowl. That's not happening. But you know what I mean? It goes both ways. Pinsanity brings up Trout. Trout's a little different. I think he got a little comfortable there. But generally, those contracts go both ways. So I like Mookie is definitely allowed to be bored, and he's allowed to be upset with if the organization, doesn't do right by him. Chris Navarro, thank you for the black flags. Raider Nation, I'm about to put a lot of trust and faith into 53 men who are definitely going to let me down. So we'll get, maybe on a different show, but yeah.
A couple on here getting back. I think they were from Pinsanity talking about, that Mookie interview where a lot of people kind of, misconstrued or reading Mookie and hearing Mookie are 2 very different people, any way you slice it. And I like what I think it was Pinsanity said. Is it was giving a lot of Kobe. Well, like, why aren't you celebrating? You just made it. You're advancing to the finals. Job's not finished.
That's my
job's not finished.
Job's not done.
Get the chills a little bit with that.
You done yet?
Still.
No, it's the best. And Mookie has that mentality. It is ring or bust for them. Like when he signed, he's like, I'm here to win rings.
Multiple.
He's
plural.
not done.
I've got 5 fake 20 rings behind me. He should bring 5 home before he's retired.
He's not super happy because guys know when they have a chance to be inner circle. They know. I got that talent. Mookie's got that talent. The last thing he wants to be held back on is, did you win enough championships? Or, did you do this in the post? Kershaw's the same way. That's why he's back.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. Cement that legacy, and
they know.
Kershaw 100% can do that with a title run here in 2024. He all of a sudden, by the way, let's shift into some starting rotation because all of a sudden Clayton Kershaw is a very integral part of this starting rotation because the Dodgers find themselves in the not so advantageous position of being in a not ideal situation. As Dave Roberts put it, you're waiting on Tyler Glasnow to come back. You're waiting and hoping and praying that guys like Yoshinobu Yamamoto can get back and maybe pitch at the level that they were pitching before. So it's giving a lot of what we've felt and what we've experienced over the last 3 seasons of Dodgers postseason baseball. You're waiting, you're leading up into September, and you're waiting, this guy's going to come back. Dustin May's going to come back. Blake Treinen's going to come back. Everything's going to be perfect and magical. Tony Gonsolin is going to feel good. And then they run out of pitching, and Clayton Kershaw starting game 1 of the NLDS with his shoulder literally hanging off. Maybe not literally, but
I think it was literally hanging off the
could have
bone
been
at that point.
could have been
Yeah.
could have been literally, honestly.
Capsule plus labrum tear, that thing's not attached. No way.
Hey, but he's a couple punches closer to that free sub sandwich. But hey, quickly, let's talk about the Glasnow thing. On Monday, I talked about it a little bit. We knew he didn't want to be on the IL. The Dodgers very wanted him on the IL, and now there seems to be a continued difference of opinion of, hey, are you going to pay attention to your body and professionals, or are you going to be stupid like you were for those 2 years when you were pitching with a torn UCL? Right now does not matter for Tyler Glasnow. Next month matters, and beyond that matters for Tyler Glasnow. So they're going to kind of let him rest for a little bit longer, which I'm not mad at. And it opens up options, let's be fair, opportunities for us to get more eyes on the outsiders with Walker Buehler and with Bobby Miller. We'll talk about them in a second. I got to talk Yoshinobu Yamamoto through a live batting practice this week. He's supposed to throw one more and then go on a rehab, and it might just be a one and done rehab, and then he comes back to LA, starts pitching here. So we could maybe second week. Yeah, I mean mid-September is, I think, depending on how quick they move things, it might be like the long side of it.
I think it's 2 rehab starts minimum. There's no way they bring him back up unless he's built up to at least 6 innings.
I would say
five innings.
Yeah.
5 innings.
For sure. But beyond that, those are the guys that were looked at, that were signed and extended to be the aces for this organization. And now you're left sitting with, if you're Bill Plunkett, you're left sitting with John Flaherty or Jack Flaherty, if you're being accurate. He's kind of the lone ace there. Again, the importance of Clayton Kershaw just keeps on increasing, and of course he starts game 1 against these Tampa Bay Rays this weekend. Gavin Stone is hitting his resurgence at the best possible time because he's kind of pitching his way back into the rotation mix. The big factors here are going to be the Walker Buehler situation and the Bobby Miller situation. To me, Bobby Miller, no chance of pitching his way back into the good graces of this front office and getting a rotation spot. What do you think about Bobby and his potential of being a starter or even being a bullpen option for this team?
I definitely think he could pitch his way back into being a starter. I think if he pitches, we're at the end of August, he'll get at least like if he strung together 5 good starts, and I'm not talking 5 innings 3 runs. I'm talking 6 innings 2. We're talking quality starts. The next 5 outings, he absolutely makes his way into that postseason conversation. However, I do think, based on his performance this year and his mental makeup, he's better suited currently for the bullpen. He's got stuff. He's just got to unload for an inning, maybe 2. They have some long options already, so there's going to be some competition there for him. But I think that's where he's best suited for this season. Walker Buehler, on the other hand, I'm less confident in. Even if he gave you 5 really good starts, they would need to be spectacular. They would need to be something where you have no questions about what he can do because the stuff just isn't there. He has no idea where that ball is going. If he can rein it in somehow, maybe he works his way into the postseason roster, but I think he's, again, with Bobby Miller, better suited for the bullpen, but they tried that before and it didn't work.
Yeah, Buehler, I can't see Buehler in a bullpen role at all. I think he would be maybe more of a 5th starter and a long guy, which would, I guess, still would be a bullpen role. But best case scenario, all the guys are back And Buehler, I'm sorry, you had your opportunity. He's not going to be happy about it. Again, we said
No.
earlier, the next series of uncomfortable conversations this organization needs to have,
And-
it's going to center around mainly Walker Buehler and his 6 ERA.
Yeah, and I don't want to get I don't want people to get me wrong. I think Walker Buehler is a major league starter, major league caliber starter. It is just not with the Dodgers. It's just not this year. He needs an offseason to get right, work on his mechanics. It might take 2
He's
just to
already had
figure out
3. He had 2 plus part of this season to figure some shit out.
But it's different to work in the offseason and face live hitting when he did this entire offseason with the idea that he could face hitters the way he used to.
It's fair.
And he started
It's fair.
late. And then he realized I can't do that anymore. And then he left for 3 weeks, and that didn't work out. That has not worked out up to this point. So I think you give him an off season to again get, because that's what we know he'll do. He'll get in the lab. He'll try and figure some stuff out and approach it. He's still young. He can still make it work. He might need to bounce around a little bit. I think he's a major league caliber starter. It is just not this year. I don't even think he cracks the Dodgers' best 8 starting pitchers, which is tough
With
because
3 of them on the injured list right now with elbow surgery.
I know, which is tough because I love Walker Buehler. He is I loved Walker Buehler coming up more than I liked Clayton Kershaw coming up because I just love what Walker Buehler brought on the mound. It's something I had never seen before from a Dodger starter. It's just something like from the era I had, not something I saw. Christopher Navarro with a $10 super chat says, I've got a doppelganger with a great name on this podcast. No, we're not the same guy. Wardo or rushing over CTO 43. I think it's 143 or Pajes when the rosters expand. So,
appreciate the super chat there. Christopher, whichever Christopher Navarro it is, if we have all of these Christophers and all of these Kevins on the show.
We got 3 Kevins at least.
Buehler, I felt got closer than he had been at any point this season when he got pissed off by CB Buckner. When he got pissed off with CB Buckner, there was a different kind of bravado that looked for a second. You saw the pain and shame in his eyes. There was anger. Yeah. He needs anger. He's been pitching. I love you, Walker. He's been kind of pitching like a little bitch. He's nibbling. He has no command of the west side of the plate. The cutter, he's way overthrowing, and he's basically trying to force the cut.
The slider,
ditch
he's
the cut. Just ditch the cut. Like if you can't get a traditional cutter, lefties are destroying him because of that. Figure out how to weasel that 2-seamer in there or whatever, but just be pissed. Whatever the hell it is, somebody slapped your grandma before the game. Be upset so you have that same Walker effing Buehler tenacity when you enter the game. With him, I think there is still an opportunity for him to find his way into this roster, into the postseason, because it's Walker Buehler. Dave loves his guys. He loves his guys, and Walker Buehler has meant so much to this organization.
What I said about Bobby Miller needing to do 5 quality starts, Walker would need to do just about the same. And I tweeted it out, X'd it, whatever. The start against the Mariners is a low upside start. If he shoves. It's a terrible offense. That's what you're supposed to do. If he flames out and just gets beat up, then we have to have a tough conversation, because that kind of lineup should not do to Walker Buehler what Walker Buehler is capable, capable of doing.
Yeah,
so
but if he's nibbling,
he didn't have a great outing.
Yeah,
The command was not there. I mean, I was talking about it in the Discord. That curveball was missing up.
Yeah,
all it takes is for one person to respect it, and that thing is out of Dodger Stadium. It just is. And he was some people were talking about he doesn't have a velo. No, he got a giddy up pitch a couple times, 97. I think he touched 98, and it missed, not even close to the zone, up and away to a right-handed batter. So it's not encouraging. At least Bobby Miller is at least a foot closer to the zone than where Walker Buehler is at.
Yeah, but even Bobby, I don't see any of the tenacity in Bobby Miller's face, and kind of seeing that at different points.
I think you get it in one inning. One inning. He
One
turns
inning
into Alex
doesn't put
Vesia.
you on my pitching staff, whether it's in a relief role, and I think, like Brusdar Gratterall coming back at some point. There's already enough question marks in that bullpen. I don't see them finding a way to slot in Bobby Miller, who got a postseason start last year and didn't do much with it. It's not going to be B-Mill. This is not Bobby's year. Somebody said it's not Bobby or Miller time this year. Walker still has a chance, and I think he felt something. Maybe he felt something more than a lot of people saw, more than what Dave Roberts saw, because Roberts' words weren't as kind towards Walker. But Walker has a chance to again, force his way into the mix, and he's got to be good. He has to be good in the event that one of these guys doesn't come back. Who do you leave out?
Who do you put?
If this is a what have you done for me over your career kind of situation, it's going to be, unfortunately, it's going to be Bobby. It's going to be Walker over Gavin Stone.
Oh, sure, but if assuming health,
Kershaw,
assuming health, it's Glasnow, Flaherty, Yamamoto, Kirsch.
And then
where do you put? Where are you putting Buehler over that? Where? I mean,
hey, Kershaw has time to get hurt. Let's be fair. That's
such
a stupid thing to say.
This is a Dodgers podcast, so what he's saying is blasphemous. I don't condone it. This was not an approved message by Kevin Skinner.
Oh God! Sometimes you got to say dumb things to make sure people are paying attention. So the comments right there, we call that engagement bait, but also just dicking around. You still got to see if Yamamoto can come back and give you anything close to what he was giving. Pre-Yankee start, because Yankee start, that was a different animal. That's something you hope you can get if and when you can get to a World Series.
You want
Glasnow?
I think Yamamoto's got a little bit of Buehler in him, man.
Got that bulldog.
He shows up.
Terrier.
He shows up. WBC, big games. In the NPB championship. I don't remember the name of it. The dude shows up. Yankees was the toughest competition he'd played all year. And I know they were Juan Soto lists. I get that. That's not lost upon me. But he shoved. He kept Aaron Judge at bay, who, Aaron Judge is having a better peak at this point than Barry Bonds almost had outside of, and this is without roids. Aaron Judge is an absolute animal. So I think Yamamoto's got a little bit of that. When the lights are brightest, he's going to show up because I think he hates losing more than he loves to succeed, which
job's not finished.
Hey man, from one Japanese person to another, I think I hate losing more than I love winning. I hate being bad at something. I think he shows up in October, there is no way he goes there and goes, I'm not going 3. He doesn't show up and go, I'm going 3 innings.
And then,
with 2 runs. Yeah, he's going to shove. Kevin, you're an absolute animal. Thank you, Goat Yachty. Appreciate it. Why does can we get some Kevin love in here? Whether it's not just for me, but
mash that thumbs up button for Kevin here. Producer Kevin.
Kevin's all around.
Give him a follow on the Twitter. I put it in the description below at Skinner7. Kevin, make sure you're doing that. So, producer Kevin.
Soon.
All Dodgers, Kevin? Don't do that. That would just that would be very weird.
Not.
It'd be very weird and dumb. Josh Gitt, give me some love. Kevin's the man.
I love it.
Is there a world who has less? I don't know how I'm trying to word this. I'm trying to talk Yamamoto and I'm trying to talk Glasnow. Who has less of a chance of coming back? Just going with a stupid gut instinct on it.
Less of a chance of coming back?
Yeah.
I think Yamamoto. Technically, if we're talking statistically speaking, I think Yamamoto has a less chance of coming back. Here's why. Tendonitis is finicky. This is for Glasnow. Tendonitis is finicky. You just have to let the swelling go down. There's no other way of treating that injury. You just it's very similar to an oblique injury. You got no idea how to do it. It's just got to go away. However, where Yamamoto's at and how much time he needs to build up, every single day that he isn't building up is felt exponentially on the back end. If he suffers a setback right now, all of a sudden, it's not until late September that we see him. If he suffers another setback.
Yeah. If there's one setback,
we don't
think you see
we don't
it.
even see him. We don't even see him at that point because
And then
they're
all
going to
of
need
a
to see
sudden,
him.
Gavin
we need to see him-
Stone is that important? That much more
He's
important?
huge.
Walker Buehler is that much more important? I think.
Yeah.
Listen, maybe this is just like the idiot in me trying to will something out of Walker Buehler to this organization. I can admit I'm blind.
I can go throw my Walker
butane-tinted
Buehler
glasses.
jersey on right now if you want me to will something from Walker
No, because
Buehler,
you've worn it
I
at other
love the
points, and
man.
he has a 6 ERA, so clearly it hasn't worked.
I know, but he's just not there this year, and that's okay. It's similar to a shoulder surgery we saw from Matt Kemp. What was it in 08?
No, it was 9.
10? Yeah, it was that same. It was Oh yeah, it was 9.
Ran into that wall in Milwaukee. Yep.
Yeah, and then 11, that idiot in Milwaukee won it. But it's the same thing. You're coming back from a second major surgery. It takes you you spend the offseason getting better. You don't spend it figuring stuff out. Now he knows and he needs an offseason. Like, I think it's just going to take him a lot longer to get back to where he wants to be. And it's a good position to have, but the Dodgers just don't have time for that. They just don't. They got to win now.
I mean,
they don't have time to suffer.
They've given him
guy
a season.
who can't give you 5 innings.
Yeah. They've given him the season to kind of like put some pieces together, figure some things out, get healthy, all that kind of stuff. Somebody said, what did I say? Roman LA Saint saying Buehler is toast. See, usually I'm the guy who's very, I wouldn't say quick, but I'm reasonable. I feel like I was reasonable in my Gavin Lux thoughts and takes and just in speaking about it. With this one, I fully acknowledge with Buehler, I'm not being reasonable. I'm not in reality, but I still think I feel it in my bones. Somewhere he's going to play some sort of role for this team in the postseason and do something fringe Butane-esque. And it might be because one of Glasnow or Yamamoto is down and not available to this team. But
I mean, I could see Buehler ending up on the taxi squad. Because we talked about this. There's gonna be a rotation in the postseason. They're like the same 4 guys that they bring for the DS are not gonna be the same 4 guys they bring for the CS. It's just not. They're gonna hide a couple guys. Yamamoto can only pitch once per series, so they're gonna hide some guys. I wouldn't be shocked if all of a sudden Gavin Stone gets that start in the DS, and then in the CS they like the matchup, and all of a sudden here's Butane. It would not shock me. It just wouldn't.
You just saying that really scares me too. Thinking about this team getting overly creative, like what
they're not doing openers. They're not opener. There's no openers to be had.
But also like did Buehler did Miller start the right game in the NLDS last year? Should Lance Lynn have been the last hope sort of thing? That's where I'm like, oh God, are they going to do it wrong? Like, are they going to give Kershaw game 2 because of some dumbass reason when it should be a Flaherty or a Yamamoto or Glasnow if one of them is healthy?
No, I don't think so. I think this is the year where they say best players are going to play. That's what the J-Hay DFA signaled to me. This entire roster just screams the best dudes are gonna be on that roster. So I think because I said this before, they're gonna have that hard conversation with like Walker Buehler, Bobby Miller. They're gonna have a hard conversation with Kershaw if he stumbles too, because they know and he knows, hey man, we got one shot at this year. 2024 is never coming back. So
yeah. We got about 5 weeks to figure some things out, both what we were talking about earlier in the show with the lineup construction, with how the 1 through 13 kind of plays on the position player side of the roster. And they got a lot of things to figure out health-wise in that starting rotation and who is going to be the odd man out, whether it be a bullpen role or straight up not on that roster at all. Very well could be Walker Buehler. I'm hoping it's not. Very well likely will be Bobby Miller. Thanks for stopping by. We'll see you in 2025. Just stay a little loose. But a lot of pieces. We didn't even touch on the bullpen, which is gonna,
that's got a lot of that's gonna be a lot of what have you done for me lately? I think there's a few guys that are complete locks, but the Anthony Bondas of the world, Brazier, can he sustain Daniel Hudson at this point?
Joe Kelly.
Well, hey man, if like I said, if they can find that role for him, that they can just put him in clean innings. But it's a tryout at this point. They're gonna have a lot of Trinan. He didn't look great, but maybe he figures it out. So there's gonna be quite a turnover in the bullpen.
Like Man 5 Dodge just said, a lot can happen in 5 weeks. So we'll see how the things shake out, and we'll be talking a whole lot about it on the channel going up until hopefully they secure that buy round. Even though I don't want the buy round, but it's an entirely different topic. So we'll talk about that at a different point. But we are what are we at? About an hour 15 right now. What do you got?
Before we get out of here, I know we're kind of wrapping it up. You posted a question: do the Dodgers need to sign a shortstop this offseason? You posted that. It was on the ROS for. I don't. Is it still there?
It is. I mean, we could pocket it. Maybe for a standalone video. Huh?
No, I would love a quick thought.
All right, you can get a quick thought in.
No. Do you have a quick answer? Like, is there a?
The quick answer is no. I think I think they're gonna try again as I close my eyes and I'm like trying to just not will it into existence as well.
Let the hate flow.
I think they're gonna try to see what the hell Gavin Lux can do at shortstop again.
Oh, what the fuck? Never mind.
Tommy Edman's gonna be the other guy, and also Miguel Rojas is still around for another year.
Is he on contract for another year?
Wait, no, yeah.
No, he's not. He's out. This
he?
is last year. Yeah.
Was this? Oh, that's right. That's right. Because they signed him to the contract extension when we were at the winter, not winter meetings. What the hell do they call that thing? The
winter meeting.
No, the thing where they do it at Dodger Stadium and it's supposed to be exciting.
Fan Fest.
Fan Fest. That's right.
It's Dodger Fest. It's Dodger Fest.
Dodger Fest now. Ooh,
fans can go.
The last one I covered last year with that other place. That's when they announced it right then, and then they were like, "Oh, they're retiring Fernando's number." But what are your shortstop thoughts? But again, knowing that we're going to have a full bit of content on this at some point.
Because I don't need to tease this, but I just need everyone to buckle down and prepare. I'm propagating Mookie Betts back at shortstop all offseason. It's not Gavin. Give me Mookie all the way back at shortstop. Give him the offseason. They gave him less than a week this time around. He's got a better arm. He's got better range. Just give him the chance.
It's also getting older.
Yeah, who cares? Mookie Betts is 100. Mookie Betts could beat Father Time. I'm not going to hear anything about that. Miguel Rojas is 35. I don't want to hear about age.
Yeah, but he's done it his entire life. What Miguel Rojas done. Is 35.
No. That means his legs are fresh. That's all that means.
He's also run a lot to the outfield over his career. Again, we'll dive into that more.
Everybody is just like,
oh yeah, they're absolutely shitting on you.
I prepare for it every time you.
But then goes Kevin is drunk. Kevin Krause has signed Willie Adames.
Yes,
I think they will be in on Adames. I do think
this is one. I believe. All offseason, they're going to have a conversation with Mookie and go, look, what do you want to do? You want to do right field or do you want to do shortstop? Gavin Lux is at second base. I don't think they want to move him. He is shown to be a valuable piece of the infield, both offensively and defensively. And if Mookie says, yeah, man, give me shortstop, guess what? They're going to give him shortstop. I'm going to believe this all offseason until they sign Willie Adames. Up until that point, Mookie.
What I love. This is your first like exceptionally hot take doing this and seeing it these type of takes play different on Discord and chat.
No, absolutely.
Because this is where everybody can just be like, you are the stupid.
You're the dumbest person ever.
Dry Protoss is I'll have. I think that's somebody who's in our.
I'll have whatever he's smoking.
I'll have whatever he's smoking. Look, it's not out of the realm of possibility. I just don't think it's the right call to go with Mookie Betts when, especially in off season.
Wait. Here's what I think. How about this? How does this outfield? How does this fondle you?
What?
Edman in center.
Okay.
Pages in right. rushing and left. That's kind of a hot outfield I could get behind. And if you don't like Pages and right because you're worried about splits,
these are
just
the
do an
Dodgers.
Outman Pages. Just do an Outman
you know what,
Pages platoon.
if they win a World Series this year, I could see them being a little creative, stupid. I could see them being different, maybe taking some different approaches. If not, they're going to open the pocketbook once again and be in on Adames, be in on Juan Soto, be in on more starters.
I don't think they're going to do it. I don't think they're going to open up.
Doesn't mean they're going to sign him.
Sure. Like, if Juan Soto wants to accept a 3-year, $180 million deal, yeah, man, here for it. I think that's what they're going to end up doing. But I could definitely live with.
Man 5 Dodge says Soto to shortstop. I like it.
No.
Let's just
I could live with Edman, Pages, and rushing in the outfield next year. That's got us some serious firepower.
I mean,
you could be really excited about.
Imagine entering spring training, though, the complete unknown of Dalton rushing, while this team still already has, 4 catchers on the on the 40-man roster. I think it's 4, if not 3, I forget.
Well, Barnes won't be there next year.
Barnes might not.
He
does
won't be.
He's have
not
an option.
No, he's done. No, he's not gonna be.
I think this team would go try Lux again before they would go to Mookie again. That's just where I'm at.
The only thing I don't like about Lux is he has the one intangible that you really need, which is an arm, and he doesn't have the arm strength to throw from deep in the hole.
And listen, I see your weak arm. And I raise you a David 2-time World Series champion Eckstein / World Series MVP David Eckstein.
And they're faster now, man. Everybody's just faster now. It's just you don't need a great arm. You don't need to have Carlos Correa level arm. You just can't have the worst
a wet
arm.
noodle. Yeah.
And Gavin Lux was in the 7th or 6th percentile. You can't have that. So I like the idea because they're going to eventually. I mean, this Shohei contract's gonna catch up to them. They're not gonna just keep handing out, 9-figure contracts
Absolutely
to people.
Not.
So I just.
But also, hey, Willie Adames is Mookie's boy. They can, there's some synergy there. There's some love, but again, let's pin it here and let's have a random video that people are going to be so pissed at the thumbnail and the title
because here's
about.
The thing is, everybody's Lux has no arm. Lux has a weak arm. It just people agree with that. It's just they don't want to see Mookie. I don't know, man. I think Mookie at shortstop fixes a lot of problems.
I mean, you'd have arguably one of the best offensive shortstops in the game, but the problem is he's not a shortstop. He's a second baseman and also a right fielder.
Rebecca, give him an off season. Give him an off season to get on target and. It's better than 5 days.
I agree with Denny right here. So she says, "I'm out. Have a good night." And I guess it's about where we're at. We'll go ahead and skip the Rays series preview. It's the Tampa Bay Rays. There's nothing exciting about that. The only thing I would have is Bobby Miller is auditioning for a spot on the taxi squad. That's about it. That's the only storyline I'm looking at. Is
even
something.
Their pitching hasn't been I was looking at the preview. It's a bunch of dudes in recent starts. They give it up a lot of runs. So, again, hoping this Dodgers offense continues to do what it has been doing.
Continue to see, your boy Max Muncy carry for this organization. But, guys, that's about it. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Thank you for enduring. Mookie back to shortstop talk. I'm going to bully you just a hair just for fun on that one.
Absolutely. No, and when I'm right, just,
well, hey, we'll see. Listen, we'll see. Well, I'll tell Alana, let's get Andrew Friedman on the show, and I'll ask him about 2025 and who's the shortstop, and he'll be like, we're not going to talk about that right now. And
until the winter meetings, and then Dave goes, Mookie Betts. I see Mookie Betts playing shortstop every
That's
day.
a good point. I decided I'm going to make foul. I'll make the guys at foul. It's not really showing up. I'll make them send me to winter meetings. I'll make them pay for it. But anyways.
Wait, bring me with you.
I don't even know what winter meetings are at this year.
Me neither.
That said,
thanks, everybody.
I'll say it again. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Thank you for the questions, the comments, the engagement here. Thank you so much for the super chats. Got to shout out the Right Field Pavilion for being freaking awesome. I also wanted to shout out, I've been messing up. I got to shout out Bob Nightingale for being one of our top tier supporters on Patreon. I didn't name it. I think I named the tier. But anyways, Bob Nightingale, you rock for your support as well as everybody else on Patreon. Huh? Bob Nightingale.
I didn't know it was Bob.
Not the real. It's not the real Bob.
No,
Nightingale.
I know, not the real.
Not the real one.
You know what I mean. I didn't know it was Bob.
I'll say it again. If you guys are looking for a different way to support me, support the channel, support independent Dodgers coverage, baseball coverage here on the internet. You're paying for your own show if you guys support through patreon.com/realfrg or by clicking the join button here on YouTube to join via members. Again, $5 a month. You could also join us in the conversation on Discord. We talk a whole bunch about baseball there. You guys could have seen the birth of Kevin talking about shortstop Mookie, and you could have slammed him there, but you know what?
Lucky Nick's Pizza if you're nasty. True.
Hey, the official pizza of the All Dodgers podcast, that is Lucky Nick's. Check him out on the Instagram. Got to get a pie. We're gonna set up something one of these freaking days. We're gonna get some pies going with our guy Lucky Nick. Yeah, yada, yada, yada. Shout out to the mods. If you guys did some work, kicked out some ne'er-do-wells or dare-do-wells in the chat, we appreciate you guys. All Dodgers is presented by Bet Online. Use that promo code BELIEVE, B-L-E-A-V, for something. I don't know. They stopped telling me what you get for doing it, but just go check out and let me know. That guy right there is producer Kevin. Give him a follow on the X at Skinner7Kevin. I'm Real FRG on the Twitter, on the Instagram. Find me on those things. All of those links are in the description. Subscribe on the way out, guys. Please, it's completely free. It's another way, that's a phenomenal way for you to support the channel. And hit that like button.
7,500 subscribers. We get Clint, Gavin Lux City Connect jersey.
Oof. We'll think about it. 75, it's not that far away. So, you know. Anyways, okay, bye.